Kobe Jordan. Today I'm here with another special guest, Benni Cortez. Benni, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, man. I'm Benny. Let's see, 24 years old. I'm a cook in Charleston. Went to Charleston after I graduated from SEC. Yeah, just bumming around, living it up
So,
as you do.
So what made you want to get into culinary and go to culinary school and stuff like that?
Sitting in an office, pretty much, is what triggered it. I went to school for mechanical engineering, and I was, I guess, kind of like an architectural drafter or something like that. And it was all right, but I didn't like sitting around all day. And one day during work, I got really upset because there was this deadline I had to meet, and I'm not really good with deadlines. I hate deadlines. So I tried doing everything the night before, and it didn't go quite well. Not for like industrial kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, screw it. I left and I went to go get some ramen at like this little ramen house in California. That's where I was at the time. And I guess that's where it started, dude. Like, I don't know. I just enjoyed sitting down. I enjoyed the food. I enjoyed the atmosphere. I enjoyed the old Japanese lady. She was like laughing at me because I couldn't use chopsticks right. So, yeah. Then I came back here, North Carolina, and I was like, you know what? I really like cooking. And, well, before I even got into school, I was working at this landscaping firm with Rebecca Cooley. And I was doing that for like 8 months. Yeah. But I was like, nah, this isn't for me. So
Yeah.
I got into the school, the culinary thing. And, well, I guess it just went from there, but I got a job at Ashton's. Worked for my first real chef, I guess you could say. Matthew Hannon, which I thank him to this day.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Oh, and another chef of mine, he was the one that got me the job because, I was, like I said, I was working at a landscaping firm.
Yeah.
And I went up to them. It was like 5 o'clock, dude, right before service starts. And you're not supposed to do that,
Yeah.
Like, it's frowned upon because you look like an idiot. But anyways, I went up there. I went to their like little prep area. I was dirty. I had my work boots on. I had some dirty shirt. I was just covered in dust, leaves, and whatever. And I looked at this guy. His name is Joshua. And I was like, dude, I need a job. I need to work in a kitchen. And I don't know, man. Before that, I had heard on this, where did I hear it? Or read it somewhere in a book. It was like, if you want a job at a kitchen, go offer yourself to work in exchange for knowledge. So that's what I did. I was like, you know what? I'll work for free, but just let me work in a kitchen. I wanna learn how to cook. I want to be better. I just want to learn more about food. This guy laughed in my face. He was like, "Ha, you want to cook?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he just laughed at me, bro. But I guess the stars lined up because that same day, one of their guys quit. Like right before I got there. So he was like, you know what, dude, come back Monday. We'll talk. And that's how it started.
Yeah.
So.
I started, I was working in front of the house somewhere. And then my boss opened another restaurant. And so this was like right as I was, like, I hadn't started culinary school yet, but this was like, like right after I decided this is what my career is going to be. So yeah, and I kind of helped him open it. Like he did a few like, not really banquets, but he did a few like, I can't even think of the word I'm looking for, but like events there, where like parties and stuff like that. And I'd come I'd help him do some of those like before he really open because it's a big place and it has a like a party room, so he rented out a few nights and cooked for it and stuff like that. So I helped him with that.
Sick.
And then as soon as he got open, I would go to my front of house job at 4, but I would get to the other restaurant at like 12, and just I wouldn't even get paid. I'd just help him work for free, you know, and just learn how to cook and stuff like that, and being in the kitchen and I did that for a few months, you know, just being in the kitchen and learning. And then eventually I got a job there, and I started expediting because it was kind of the restaurant I was working at, they got into some trouble with the county or whatever. It was the restaurant I was talking about with Josiah, thing like that, where the owner built some new walk-in coolers and didn't sign the building permits, stuff like that. So he got shut down for a few weeks, and which the owner's not the other guy I was talking about. The other guy kind of worked for him, but anyways, so yeah, and I talked with the other guy, and he said, you know, you can come work for me a little while, because I was planning on getting a job cooking somewhere in like Southern Pines or something like that anyways. So I just went there, and he had me expediting for a while, and then one of the cooks left, so I started working the fryers, and then eventually I just started working like the window. So, you know, it worked out pretty well. Yeah,
man, it's a pretty cool thing for me.
Yeah,
That I don't know, I took to it naturally. Like, it was really, really easy for me to get into the kitchen and just move around. Like, I knew what was going on. I don't know. It's pretty baffling sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah. Aside from that, I guess the other reason I wanted to get into the cooking industry is for self-sustainability, man. Like, that was my big thing. That's a big thing at Ashton's, the place I used to work at.
Yeah.
Farm to Table, and I heard you talk some about that with Julie, which I agree. It's the way it should be, but nowadays it's really difficult.
Yeah.
Because, again, of our huge population of people. But yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to learn how to do that, how to turn our local ingredients into like something delicious. Be creative. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just pop them in a pan, put some oil, salt. They'll be fine.
Yeah, and cooking's also like if you go and like to art school or whatever, and you learn how to paint or whatever, it can be hard to really like turn that into like a business, you know, because it can be hard to like kind of make money off that, which some people do, and that's pretty cool. But with cooking, you can be creative and also start your own business and be like an entrepreneur in a way, and you can do your own thing and really be creative at the same time, like making money off of it. I feel like it can be easier. I don't know, like painting and stuff like that, it can be kind of hard to get into, and once you do it, it can be really hard to make money off of it, you know. And also other things like music. I mean, I know a few people myself who are musicians, and it's really hard to get discovered and make money off of it, you know, just trying to be creative. And there are the few people who slip through the cracks and become icons and whatever, but you know, that can be a hard thing to do. But cooking, you can be creative, and it's not like easy cooking, and it's not easy owning own restaurant and stuff like that, but it's a better, not really a better, but it's kind of like you can make a business model easier with it, with food and being creative, than music or anything like that. So yeah. And also, like, as long as you got money to invest, you can pretty much open up your own place. I mean, you obviously got to know how to cook, but yeah, and but when you're an artist and like when you're a musician, like you got to find like a record label, and you have to have people to like believe in you and think you're good enough to do a whole lot more. But with cooking, it's just, well, at least when you have your own place, you can start just making money off of what you want to make, so that's why you can, it's not like easier, but it can be better to be creative in a kitchen, like in a practical standpoint, so yeah, so that's like that's like my big artistic outpoint. I don't think I'm this big artist or I'm an artistic person or whatever, but it's fun to be creative with food and make stuff and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why I love it,
Yeah.
be creative.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
For my brain to process in a moment.
So what other places did you work at?
Oh, very good question. I used to work at this Japanese place. That was pretty good. Down in Rockingham. I worked there for like a good 6 months, maybe. I don't know. All I know is I got to tossing rice really nicely, dude.
Sounds like fun.
I was like Benihana, just with the rice. And that was pretty dope. I worked at Ashton's. I worked Live for Folly. Yeah, I think just those places, man.
Sounds like fun.
Oh, and California. I worked in California for a bit. Yeah, it was like this little ramen Asian shop. It was like this big old Asian market, but they had a food center in the back, which was the grungiest looking place you would ever see. Imagine going to like a warehouse or something, and it's been dusty, it's been old. That's exactly what it was. It was a warehouse. Wow, it was a warehouse. Yeah, because we kept everything back there, but there was like this big old oven. It was an amazing, ridiculously awesome oven because you could steam in it, you could inject water into it, and I don't know. It had all these crazy features. We used it mostly for bonbaos, which are like steam buns. Dude, we would make at least 1,000 steam buns a day. Yeah, and they would sell out ridiculous amounts of steam buns. I had no knowledge of what these people were speaking. They just pointed at stuff. I was like, all right. I go over there, I get the stuff, I come back, and then they show me how to do it. And I'm following along, just watching, I guess. Because I wanted to learn how to make the friggin' steam buns. And there's so much crap that goes into those things, dude. There's like 15 ingredients for the ones we made. But they were so good, man. Like, as soon as they came out of that oven, just the steam in your face. They were so puffy and bouncy and glossy. Dude, it was like heaven. And again, like I said, I had no idea what these people were saying, but we ate them together. We sat around, we joked. They would make fun of me, I would try to make fun of them. And there was this one time they gave me this jackfruit. Have you ever had jackfruit? It was this yellow, spiny looking thing. I don't know, dude. It smelled horrible. Like, they cut it open, and I thought somebody died. It was the worst smelling fruit I've ever had a chance to see, taste, and look at. Well, this old lady, the one I was working with, her name was Andao, or Sakura, which is what she wanted me to call her, Sakura. But yeah, dude, she grabbed this like seed pod from the jackfruit and just tossed it at me. I was like, whoa, what are you doing? Yeah, man, I didn't catch it because it was slippery, and it, I guess, slipped out of my hand, hit my face, hit the ground. I smelled like death the rest of the day. It was disgusting. Especially when I had to go out there and refill like the little steam buns area for like the grocery shopping people. Ugh. I could see it on their faces like, this guy smells horrible. And yeah.
So where in California was this?
San Bernardino.
Hmm.
Bernardino.
Bernardio.
San Bernardino is what I call it.
Is that in like Northern California or Southern California? I don't know California, so.
It's close to Los Angeles,
Huh.
if that says anything. I'm not good with geography.
Me neither.
But yeah. So I worked there for a good while. It was nice. I loved it. It was my first real kitchen experience. Or grungy kitchen experience. You know, like Anthony Bourdain. You know Anthony Bourdain? Yeah. Like in his books, how he talks about the kitchens and the miscreants, you know? That's how it was. Oddly enough, that is exactly how it was, word per word. Just a great time. I fell in love with it, man. Like, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to be.
Yeah.
These are the kind of people what's it called? That I connect with, I guess. What's that word? These are the kind of people that I
Relate to?
feel comfortable around. You know?
Click with?
I just got along with them really well. And yeah, I came to meet a lot more people that worked in the business. And yeah, they were all ruffians. You know, there's some good people. There's some nice people in the kitchens, but most of them are ruffians.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind.
I worked with a lot of Greek people.
Greek?
Yeah.
Greek? Was this at the, what's it called? I forget the name. Place in Pinehurst, or Aberdeen. Southern Pines.
It was around here. It was, this guy named...
Yanni.
Yeah.
Yanni.
He was he was my boss, you know. And his dad, Pete, he come to America when he was like 17 with like $100, and he started his own restaurant, and yeah.
I've heard about these guys.
Yeah, and they brought a bunch of their family over, which I know a bunch of them. They're really cool. Like, there's this guy, he worked with me at Westmore, which is the place I expedited at and then cooked. Spiro, he was this big old, like, probably 300 pounds. I'm not like picking on him or anything, but this big old Greek guy, and he was, I mean, me and him, like, we were basically like best friends when we cooked there. And you know, sometimes he'd get on my nerves and I'd get on his nerves, but he was like the best person to work with. I love that joker so much.
That guy's a trip, man.
You ever met him?
Yeah.
Spiro?
No, Yanni.
Oh yeah, Yanni.
Spiro? I don't think I've heard of Spiro.
Yanni's, it's not his cousin, but he calls him his cousin. They're basically cousins or something like that. He's pretty cool. And then there's a guy named Nick. He's pretty cool. I don't know if he's related to Yanni, but I know he's Greek. Yeah, but he's really cool. He went to Pennsylvania and worked in a place, and then he worked at Westmore with us, and then he went somewhere else. But he's a really cool guy, and yeah. And then but I met like a bunch of his family and a bunch of like his. He hired like not even just his family. He hired just a lot of Greek people, and they were like some of the coolest people I know, you know. And it's cool to really meet and connect with like other cultures of people and stuff like that, you know, because they had their own ways of cooking, and they showed me. You know, it was some pretty cool stuff. Like, yeah, it was really cool.
That is definitely what keeps me going.
Yeah.
The ability to learn and like increase my repertoire in any kind of food. Like I said, right now I'm doing Italian, which is so simple, man. It's like the simplest things, but they make the greatest foods. Like we have this pasta dish at the restaurant, and we take hot meat, like what's it called? Salami.
Mm-hmm.
But it's aged longer and it's more spicy.
Mm-hmm.
We render that down, and you get this beautiful, dude, like this gorgeous looking pool of red grease.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so vibrant. Then we add some Brussels leaves in there, man.
Mm-hmm.
We fry those up in that grease, and we continue the process. Add some shrimp, saute that, and we add black spaghetti, like squid spaghetti.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just those 4 ingredients: the pasta, the salami, Brussels, the shrimp.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we season with salt and finish with lemon juice.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of the greatest tastings pasta I've ever had. And yeah, like I said, super simple, super easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
So I'm learning that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
I never really got into Italian food because I don't like pasta.
You don't like pasta?
I don't like pasta. Well, I mean, maybe it's because
what am I doing here?
Maybe it's because I haven't tried that much pasta. I mean, I'm not a spaghetti fan. I think it's kind of annoying to eat.
Bro, you have to try fresh pasta.
Probably because
Don't
no
say
offense to my mom,
you don't
but
like it until you try fresh pasta.
Yeah, no offense to my mom, but she just the little noodles at the grocery store and like for spaghetti and stuff like that. But I don't know, like it's never really a culture that I've really studied or really got into. I hope I do one day in the future, but it's never really been something I enjoy to eat. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not my forte, I guess.
I'll bring over some black spaghetti someday. I'll make you a believer.
I probably will. I mean, I haven't really gotten into it that much,
Yeah. It's my first time. Well, not my first time, but it's definitely. I'm diving deeper into like Italian cooking.
Yeah.
No. Definitely diving deeper.
Mm-hmm. You were talking about, or you had something to say? Oh, you were talking about earlier about Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
That joker had the best job on the planet.
Yeah, dude. That's what I'm trying to do, man.
He killed himself. Like, that was... that's some, like, heavy stuff. Like, that shows you how bad it can get, when you have the best job in the world. And he was staying at, like, a 5-star hotel in Paris, and he just decided it wasn't worth it.
It's all in the mindset, bro.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him, he was on the super far end of the cook's spectrum.
Yeah.
He was way beyond gone. Mm-hmm. A legend, a genius, but at the same time, a sociopathic. I don't know. He had a lot of mental problems.
Yeah.
Especially because of his drug use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Eventually, whenever you do enough drugs, you just lose yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how good you have it.
Yeah.
You just lose yourself.
Yeah.
And definitely, like I said again, on the super, super, super far side of the cook spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
It was bound to happen.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd love to have a job like that.
Oh,
I think everyone,
for sure.
like everyone in the culinary world, just dreams of having that job, or like a Guy Fieri's like diners, drive-ins, and dives, where he just drives around the country and eats and just talks about it. Man, I would love to have that job, though.
Yeah, dude.
You just drive around and you eat a bunch of stuff and you're like, oh man, that's some good food right there, and that's literally all he does. And it's like, wow, that would be. And he probably gets paid like a lot of money to do that.
This dude makes millions, bro.
He is a millionaire, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh man,
that'd be a great job.
That's what I'm trying to do, dude.
Yeah, I think everyone in the culinary world dreams of having a job like that.
Well, I don't really want a job like that, but I do want to travel a lot in the cooking business.
Yeah. That's what I was talking to Julie about it last week, and I'd love to work like maybe work a year in like Paris somewhere and go to Italy for a year, or go to even like Tokyo for a year. Like that'd be amazing, you know?
Yeah.
I always wanted to do that.
That's my dream, bro. Dying in Japan.
Dying in Japan?
Yeah.
I heard Japan's a pretty cool place.
I don't know if it's cool or not. It looks cool, but that's where I want to die. In Japan. You know? Mm-hmm. On a nice little farm next to my cows, eating a giant steak. I'm kidding. I don't like steak.
You don't like steak?
Well, it's overrated.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
just like throw a piece of steak on the grill. That's kind of,
don't get me wrong.
Maybe
like,
a little overrated. Like,
to me, it's overrated.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. It's just meat. Like, I love meat, but
yeah,
I'll have a good steak every now and then. I just would. That's not my first go-to.
Yeah.
On a menu.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would not go to the grill and get a steak. You know?
Yeah.
I'd probably get something that's outlandish. Something I haven't tried before.
Mm-hmm. And but there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with steak, and you know, like filet and stuff like that is really good. But I mean, like just the classic American lightly seasoned ribeye thrown on a grill. You know, that's kind of. I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong, but it's just kind of.
If you want a good steak,
overrated.
Bro, get the tri. I think it's called the tri-tip. The tri-tip is where it's at for a good, meaty, hearty, beefy, in your face, slap your grandma, good steak. Goes against everything I know, but the longer you cook it, the better it gets. There's that. Also, beef tripe. Exquisite.
Yeah. But yeah, and steak, people worship it around here. Like my dad, like that Texas Roadhouse porterhouse ribeye. Like my dad will, I think he'd die for one. Like my dad, like no offense to my dad, but he worships that thing.
Oh, dude.
Not that it's bad, but it's like I'm like, come on, pops.
That's funny.
Like there's a whole lot more out there, and I'll be cooking from home, and I'll make something, and like the other day I made something with like chicken, and like you saw that on my story, right? I got my dad to try a little bit of it, and he's like, yeah, that's good, but it's just chicken. I was like, Dad, like, I don't know, but it's good to get out and try other things. You know, I used to be a picky eater when I was a youngin', and you know, and I still am. It's hard for me to try things every now and then, you know.
That's another thing that I think affects a lot of people. Yeah. Like in how they eat or their cuisine, I guess. Yeah. Like as a child, dude, I was fed whatever was lying around, you know. We'd go hunting, we'd get whatever we could find and eat it. I used to eat crickets for breakfast. Yeah, like just crickets off of a field. The green ones, you know? Yeah, like they would grow on the wheat pastures, and they would like infect the wheat with some kind of virus. I don't know. Locusts. They were bad omens for the wheat fields. But dude, we would gobble those things up. Like we'd let our chickens run loose. They'd have a feast. Myself and like my dad and my uncles would go to the field also. We'd find these big old green grasshopper things. We'd take off their legs, put them in a little basket, carry them back home, toss them on like an open pit on top of a comal, you know, like to make tortillas on. Salt them, lemon. Dude, it was great eating, happy eating. So I was never really a picky eater. Yeah. Except when it came down to chicken nuggets. I didn't like chicken nuggets as a kid. You didn't
like chicken nuggets?
No. It was because of a bad experience at school. I was fed chicken nuggets, but they were like, I don't know. I found like a piece of a beak in there.
Or beak?
Yeah, like chicken beak or something like that. Yeah. And I never ate chicken nuggets after that. Until maybe 3 months later. And then I loved chicken nuggets again.
That's how I am with hot dogs. I mean, when I was in kindergarten, my mom bought like a hot dog, but it had like, I didn't think it had expired yet, but it was basically there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a little microwave hot dog, and I took it to school one day, and like I started eating it, and I took like one bite, and it didn't taste right, and I told my kindergarten teacher, and she's like, "Oh, just eat it anyway."
Oh man.
I was like, "Okay," so I ate the whole thing, and that night I think I got food poisoning or something, and I like puked my guts out and stuff like that, and since then I'm not eating another hot dog as long as I live. I mean, one time I was at my grandma's house, and because we eat there like every Sunday for dinner, and she had hot dogs one day, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm tired of being a baby. I had one bad experience. I'll try it. I ate it. My stomach just couldn't handle it, I guess. I don't think there's something wrong with it, but I just think like my mind just kind of, and I threw up again, and ever since then I'm like, all right, you know what? No more hot dogs.
Oh, dude, I'd tear up a good hot dog.
I don't know. I mean, I know what they taste like. Like,
just not for you, I guess.
Yeah. Burgers are pretty good, though.
Oh, yeah, dude. A good classic burger.
Mm-hmm.
I would eat it.
Yeah. Burgers, it's a hard thing. I just eat my burgers with, like, ketchup and onion and salt and pepper. Like, I don't know. I just never really got into lettuce, tomato, and stuff like that. Well, I don't like mayonnaise. I cannot stand the stuff.
You're breaking my heart, dog.
You
don't like pasta. You don't like hot dogs. You don't like mayonnaise.
Well, I had a bologna sandwich when I was like, I think like 12.
Mm-hmm.
Was it bologna? It might have been like turkey or something like that. And I would eat them like every day for lunch. And then my mom was like, put some mayonnaise on that and it'll taste better. I was like, okay. It tasted disgusting. And ever since then, I don't like mayonnaise.
Well, have you had real mayonnaise?
Yeah, I had it at school.
You still didn't like it?
Well, I mean, when we had like sandwich week for Garmager and we put them on sandwiches, like it's all right as long as it's with, I don't know, like with other stuff, but like, I don't know. And then when we had to make mayonnaise and like try like a spoon of it,
wow,
disgusting.
Oh, also, hollandaise is not a mother sauce. Remember that.
Is not a mother sauce?
It's not a mother sauce. Now that we're talking about mayonnaise is the original 5th mother sauce.
Mm-hmm.
This is a little tidbit from what I've been learning over the past couple of years. But it turns out that many, many, many moons ago, someone translated the I guess Escoffier's work or Carême's work into hollandaise becoming or being part of a mayonnaise-based emulsion, because mayonnaise, is made with what? Oil, egg yolks, acid, salt. That's mayonnaise. Hollandaise is essentially the same thing, except it's made with butter, and it's heated to emulsify, which, like I said many, many moons ago, the person that was writing down like all this stuff in the books and everything translated it wrong. So you can look this up. Mayonnaise is definitely the 5th mother sauce, not hollandaise. Hollandaise is just a poser.
Chef Courier would be crying right now.
I know, dude. Like, everything I know about the mother sauces is wrong. Actually, not everything, just the part about mayonnaise and hollandaise. But yeah, man, do some research and you'll see it's kind of crazy how they misinterpreted it, and it changed the whole what's it called, the whole
book,
the book,
like the book of,
yeah, it changed, it changed history, man.
Yeah,
like,
kind of did.
Yeah, hollandaise is just hollandaise now,
It's just heated mayonnaise made with butter.
Yeah, it's a lie.
And I think like I was talking to Julie about it, like, because the Escoffier decided, you know what, this is what I'm gonna write down. This is how you cook. This is the book. You know, like you know, you go by the book. This is the book of how you cook, and everyone bases their cooking off of that. And while like that's the tried and true method that people learn from hundreds and even thousands of years of cooking, that may not be everything. That may not be the best way. Not really the best way, but like the only way. There might be other things we can do with food outside of Escoffier's work, or you know what I mean. Well, I think that's an important thing to.
There's definitely room for improvement.
Yeah,
but Escoffier's work, or like Carême, I think they just it's just a foundation.
Yeah,
it's just we all are taught.
Yeah,
basic cookery, basic techniques, which some great chefs have taken to extremes and just become amazing. And like you were talking about Grant Chats from Millennia, his work is definitely based on Carême's, but this guy just took it a whole different direction.
Yeah,
applying the same base foundation, the same base techniques, just putting his own awesome twist into it. I don't know if you know about the Roca brothers up in Spain.
Never heard of them.
They're Jordi Roca. He's a pastry chef. His work is also based off of like the basics, the foundations. But again, he took that little tidbit of information, he applied his own intricate techniques to it, and just created an explosion of like new desserts. He made a big old buzz in the dessert department of the world, and it's incredible.
Yeah,
like I said, I think we all, it's a good thing to learn. Definitely boring. Don't get me wrong, so boring. Ugh, I hated it.
All of the French words and
yeah, like all the French words. Why would I say pincer when I could just say cooked tomato paste?
Blech.
Exactly. I ain't French.
Yeah,
dude.
Chef Courier said that the French stole everything.
I
mean, not really. I mean, I think like Escoffier kind of, well, like cooking back then, it was like you're like an apprentice to someone.
Yeah.
They teach you, and then you teach the next guy, and he teaches the guy after him. And
that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
as it goes on, people implement their new techniques.
Yeah,
and that's where you get new ideas from. It's just the basis of, I don't know, where it all begins.
Yeah,
like for me, working at Ashton's and working at La Farfalle are two completely different restaurants. One is an American farm-to-table restaurant with hyper-local ingredients. And we apply the simplest cooking techniques to get amazing dishes. And now I have some Italian experience. Definitely not a lot, but just my mind works like a sponge. I like to watch, I like to see, I like to experience, I like to experiment with whatever techniques I'm being thrown.
Yeah.
So in my head, I have like these weird recipes combining combining the Italian techniques, the stuff I learned at Ashton's, the simplicity of Ashton's.
Yeah.
And the flavor, like mixtures of Asian food. So you have 3 different things in one recipe. And then I apply my own cuisine, like my Mexican heritage cuisine. There's so much stuff I can do with all that.
Yeah.
And like I said, I have stuff in my head, I write it down, I test it. And some of it comes out great, some of it comes out not so great. And other things I toss. Because it's just like, oh, why would I do this to myself? Like I did this one thing with squid ink, and I had squid ink, I had tomatoes, and what else did I have? I think it was like jelly, not jelly, but the sheets, what are they called? Gelatin sheets. Gelatin sheets.
I think there's a word for them, but I can't remember.
Yeah, the gelatin sheets.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I was trying to make this taco with squid ink, but like gelatin squid ink, you know? Like little cubes of squid ink.
Yeah.
Gelatinized on carnitas. And I was like, all right, well, this doesn't sound good to begin with, but let's try it. And my idea was that the carnitas would be like hot out of the fry, like the oil, onto a tortilla, which was also warm. And then like the broth that was a little bit of squid ink, tomato base, you know, fishy, but not too fishy. But I was going for the saltiness of it.
Yeah.
On top of a carnitas taco. And like with the heat, the little gelatin things would melt and cover the whole taco like a salsa. It was bad. It wasn't really good. Like, there's definitely room for improvement to maybe not use squid ink, but actually make a salsa and like gelatinize it and just somehow make it melt over the taco, and then it becomes beautiful and delicious with an added kind of I don't know, texture. It's weird, man.
Yeah,
it sounds really weird now that I'm talking about it, but
no, I mean, you know, I heard from a guy, he's a barbecue guy, and I even forget his name. I just heard him say this one time from some YouTube video or something. He's like, you know, in order to make good barbecue, you're gonna have to make bad barbecue. And
yeah,
you know, it's just cooking is a lot of trial and error, and you're gonna mess up, you're gonna make mistakes. You know, I was working yesterday, and we were developing like a cheese sauce for our mac and cheese, and our pots, we have like place I work at, it's like a little bitty kitchen in the back of like an 100-year-old building. So we don't have gas. We don't even have like a hood system. Like, yeah, so we use like little induction burners. So so the pot we used was it wasn't like made for it, so it just heated up like this one little bitty spot in the bottom of the pot. So when we melted our cheese down and we kind of got like our sauce, like it looked fine, you know. And then we tasted it, and it was like all burnt and smoky, and it had scorched just a little bit of the bottom of the pot. So and we made like a big batch too. Like it was pretty bad, probably $60 worth. So just like down the trash. So.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like
trial and error, you know.
Trial and error gets expensive.
So yeah, that's true.
You better try it twice and get it right the third time.
Yeah,
because it adds up, man.
Yeah, but then you know we made a little batch with another pot, and it turned out great. You know, it's kind of, you know, and the guy who stirred it, he didn't use like a metal one, so he couldn't feel where it scorched. But you know, you live and you learn.
Yeah, most definitely.
Now we know we can't use that pot for that burner. You know,
precisely.
There we go. You know, we're still probably gonna use it to like boil our noodles and stuff like that, but you know, not for cheese sauce. You know?
Yeah,
it's just all trial and error, and you know, in order to make good food, you first got to make bad food, and yeah, so it can be important to just, you know, and I feel like there's a million different things people can do with food, but no one's ever found out, because I mean there's thousands of different ingredients.
Yeah,
you know, like just from everything. You know, there's a bunch of different kind of animals, and even like when you know, butcher an animal, there's a million different cuts of meat. You know, and a bunch of plants. You know, there's probably plants in some jungle somewhere we still haven't discovered, and there's fish in the deep ocean that might be the most delicious thing in the world, but you know, we haven't discovered it yet. And even with the stuff we have discovered, like it's just, there's a million different combinations of just different ingredients that we could do different techniques we can use on them. So, I mean, who knows? Like, there's a bunch of different stuff.
It's definitely an open world, yeah.
Yeah.
Like when it comes down to cooking, yeah.
I gotta say, like, anyone listening or me or you, don't be scared to, something that doesn't really sound like it goes together, but you're like,
yeah,
who knows? Try it, It's not, keep in mind, like, don't make $60 worth of cheese sauce just to burn it and throw it away, but, as long as it ain't going to cost you a lot of money or, try it. Who knows? It may be disgusting, or it may be the next hamburger or something. You know what I mean? Not really a hamburger. I was just thinking of something famous or something. You ever heard of how hamburgers got like invented?
Mm-mm.
All right, so
I have not, but I will now.
Some old person told me this story. That sounded really mean. He's a really cool guy. I just called him an old person, but anyways, he told me this like a few years ago. So I'm just like paraphrasing this, and it may not be 100% correct, but this is basically how it went. I think it was in some war. I forget which one it was, but it was these German soldiers. I think they were German. It's been like years since I heard the story, but I'm just saying what he said. They were like camped out somewhere, and they couldn't really, like, they were kind of struggling for food. They didn't really know what to do, and they were like by like a cow field. So they killed a cow, and they like got the meat from it. But I think something about how they couldn't start a fire or something like that because it would alert the enemy or something like that. I don't know. It's been years since I heard this story, but anyway, so they wrapped it in like tin foil, and they put it underneath their saddles when they rode on their horses, and it would heat it and it would cook it, and it was a hamburger or something. I don't know. This is I'm just like paraphrasing this story I heard like a few years ago. Like, I don't know. I think that's how it went. Something about soldiers killing cows and then putting the meat underneath their saddles or something like that. I don't even know if that's true. That's just something I heard like forever ago. So I don't even that might not be true. I don't even know, but
I don't know, bud.
I don't know.
We might have to do some research on that.
Something like that. I might do. I don't know.
Because my first thought was, if they killed a whole cow.
I think so.
That's gnarly. Just to get a piece of like ground beef?
Well, I think they got a lot of ground beef.
Yeah, but like, did everyone put beef in tinfoil and underneath their saddle?
I guess.
So like, that would, wouldn't the meat just like get squished and pushed out of the tinfoil? Because imagine a man, all right? How much would a man weigh in the army?
200 pounds.
200 pounds.
Ish.
Riding on a horse. And their saddles, which I'm sure go up, move a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel bad for the horse because then he'd have dead cow all over his back.
I don't know. I don't even know if that's true. I heard that story like a few years ago, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I was like probably great. 14 at the time, and it was just some. I mean, he's a pretty cool guy, and I think like the story he told me was right, but I don't remember it good enough to tell it exactly how it went or something like that. I don't even know, but maybe they cooked it and they put it underneath their saddles to keep it warm or something. I don't know.
This is how I'm going to remember it by.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm just trying to talk about whatever I remember from the story, but yeah. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So I guess we'll wrap it up here.
It's really cool to talk to somebody about food and stuff,
Yeah, I'll have you back again,
Yeah.
Pretty cool. All right, well, thank you, Benny, and thank you everyone who's listening. Please, if you're on YouTube, please like and share and comment, and subscribe.
You're on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm on everything.
Dang.
I'm on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We have an Instagram page, a Facebook page. It's all right. So please rate us on Instagram. Please rate us on iTunes. or like Apple Podcasts, that can really help the podcast out a lot. And yeah, so thank you, Benny, for coming. And
yeah, bud, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right,
it's really been a treat.
All right, well, thank you everyone for listening. See you next week.